Hi, Sue Wilson here again today. I'm going to show you something that you can do with the Joy snow globe scene that doesn't use the actual snow globe. So it's a very versatile die. The dies and products we'll be using include the pine twig, the holly branch. We're going to be using the Poinsettia additions. Here is the Joy snow globe scene that we'll be using. Going to add in a few of the original classic poinsettias to give a difference in size on the flowers, and a frame from the double pierced circles from our Noble die collection. And a couple other items we'll be using also include the adhesive sheets, double-sided. We're doing some glittering, and some embossing with the Contemporary Poinsettia embossing folder, and the small circle clear Dazzlers. I'm going to show you how to change the color on those, as well as the Cosmic Glitter Jewels Diamond Sprinkles. Okay, got a lot going on in today's card. We're going to start by doing some embossing. Now I've created a sort of diagonal channel card. So I've cut a piece of milk card on the diagonal, and I'll give you a quick measurement on that. So if you measure it before it was cut, it is 5.5 inches by 6 3/4 inches. And I've just done just that sort of shape diagonal. You can change the angle if you prefer. I'm going to bring in the Contemporary Poinsettia, and I personally think it's easier to cut the card first and then emboss it. Certainly you can do it the other way around. You can emboss it and then cut it. It's totally your call on that. So I'm going to pop that into place, cover it with the raspberry adapter. Let's see if that will work on this one. There we go. Seems to go through easily. And every die cutting machine is different on the sandwiches for embossing folders, I've noticed. So if yours is a little bit too tight, go back and use the white adapter plate and shim it with a piece of copy paper too. Okay, so now I've got a beautiful emboss going on. So that is going to be the base for our card. What I've done is I've gone ahead and I've done one that I've added some mounting foam to the back on. Bring that in, and we'll show you how we're going to handle the channel part of this. I've got another piece of milk-colored card with a strip of that sticky adhesive sheet across it. So I'm going to peel the backing off on that. Just get it started. It's got that backing paper. There we go. And then I'm going to put these pieces on top, and we'll do the glittering after that. And that way we don't have to worry about it not sticking. If we hit a piece of the glitter, hit a section of the glitter. I'll line this up. You'll have to excuse me while I kind of lean in to see if I'm right at the edge there. Get that on there straight as we can. And the bottom piece. And you don't want to have any saggy spots in this, so having a good lining around the edge and in the center with your mounting foam is always a good idea. Pop this one down along the bottom edge. There. So now we've created a channel and it's sticky right there. So we'll bring in a piece of copy paper and use our diamond sprinkles with it. We can just go through, add that, just give it a little bit of a swish around, and that will give you a really pretty sparkly channel that you can create with. So we will pop that back into our container. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and move this onto the background just so we have it all set up, ready to go. Bit of mounting foam in place. My usual paper piercing, which I've done with a piercing ruler. I've added some gold card, so it's the same color that we're using in the card, so it kind of frames it nicely. So the next thing we want to do is we're going to have a focal element here, and we're going to bring that pine bough across that channel. So I think I'll do the focal element so we can put that on for size. I've cut the Joy. Now this die comes with a decorative inner section, which is what I've used here, and an outer section. So if you want to cut the circle itself, you can use that too. Or you can use that to back it with another color if you prefer. I'm just going to add it onto a sticky adhesive sheet and put some more glitter on that. So we'll bring this in. I've gone ahead and covered it with, covered a piece of milk card with a sticky adhesive sheet. Pop that into place on top, and I'll use that backing to make sure it's all adhered nicely. Bring my copy paper back in and go back to my diamond sprinkles. These are absolutely beautiful. Give it a nice burnish so it gets all of that adhesive that's exposed. Okay. And no waste, put it right back into your container. Okay. So I could add that like that using the circle edge if I prefer, but I wanted to add a real nice frame to it. So I've used the double pierced novels, and I've created a multi-layered frame using 2 of the sizes to do the gold, and I've stepped it up and added another frame on top with the milk card. So a little bit of mounting foam around the back as I do. And we are going to peel the backing off of these, and you can see it's well coated. I don't leave much room to get areas where it could get compressed and sag. I think it really detracts from your card when that happens, so I like to make sure that I've got enough mounting foam on the back. I'm going to pop that right over the top and center it, and then we'll trim away the extra bit. So bring in our scissors and just go at an angle around the edge, cutting away all that excess card. There we go. So now we have a really pretty joy that we can add into the top part here. So I think I'll just use a piece of mounting foam. Cut that off right here. We'll add that to the back. We can even add a little bit on either side here, just to keep it nice and level. Pop that right off the back there. And we will center that in this section up at the top here. So now we have a guide for where we can add our pine bough there across the top. So I've cut several of these. Oh, here they are. I've got 2 full ones, and then I've done just a third one, which I'm taking a little piece of. So we're going to go back in. I'm going to use a bit of Cosmic Shimmer Dries Clear Glue and just hit the tips of the pieces here as I go across. Oops, there we go. In fact, we'll do both of these while we're there with the glue. And that should be enough to catch the edges of all of those. Pop that on, and I'm going to start down in this corner and just go across this divide and a little bit up onto there. And I think it's quite pretty to have the just the little holly berries coming up onto your main focal element there. Give it a second to catch. Okay, and then we're going to take the next one. I'm just going to slide it right underneath here. Pop that on top. Give it a second. Catch all those little corners. We've got one right there. Catch that. And that little extra piece, we're going to slide under and go up around the circular frame there. So a little bit more glue, get some tips. There we go. I'm going to pop that right under the edge there. Oops. Lift that little piece. Right up like that. So it kind of draws your eye in and around. I think that's quite pretty. Give it a second. There we go. So now we've got a pretty channel that we've started to grow upward. We're going to add a focal element down in the corner. Okay, so I've gone ahead and I've cut the Poinsettia Editions, the solid pieces, and I've just used milk card, and I've covered it with a piece of sticky adhesive sheet. And what I'm going to do is just peel the top backing off of it. I'm going to bring in my glitter jewels, and I'm going to dip them and just try and get all those little petals so we have a nice little glittery poinsettia going. And I try to avoid that center section because it just makes it a little bit easier when you can create a flower that's got a middle area with no glitter on it, so you can glue together there. One by one you can go around and dip all the petals. There we go. You can do a little bit of forming, and I just like to pinch them. Just form them around my finger, like that. And you can add a little bit of glue too if it needs it. You can tell if it's going to stick right away. You can usually tell. That looks like it's okay. Now, one of the things that I like to do is to match my card, and these clear Dazzlers are absolutely perfect for that. So I'm going to bring in a piece of wax paper, find my little Dazzler that's, oh, here he is, gone hidden, and bring in the Adirondack Gold Mixative. Now this is an alcohol ink, and it's got a blender bead in it, so you've got to get it nice and blended. And then, and I usually put this onto a piece of wax paper. Just coat your Dazzler. There you go. Now that will take a few minutes to dry. So usually I'll set it aside, and what you end up with is a really pretty gold Dazzler that matches very, very nicely. So we can add a little bit of glue to the center of our poinsettia. So I'm just going to add my little Dazzler to the center there. Give it a press, and you've got a very pretty poinsettia. Now I've got a couple here that are already dried and glued, so I'm going to go ahead and use them. And we'll bring in some glue dots and attach a large one, say right here in the corner. And I've done a slightly smaller one, which is one of the advantages of having the different sizes of poinsettias. You can do all sorts of sizes and get a really, really nice grouping of them going. And I've got a really small one here I'm going to pop up into this corner. I've added a couple of the little pine twigs here, and I've done them in gold for the top one. I'm going to pop them right underneath there, and I've just trimmed off a little teeny bit. Let me get underneath there. We're going to add some milk colored ones and some gold ones on the bottom to finish it off here. So some glue here, a little bit on that. Put down here, and a couple of gold ones. I like bringing in both those colors so you can mix and match them coming out from the poinsettia. Just adds a little bit of interest. There we go. And a couple of larger ones. It's nice because it's been designed in a way that you can trim it down and use bits and pieces of it, or you can use larger areas. It's just whatever you prefer. Pop that into place. And let's do one more here. Pop that down there. There we go. I think that is so pretty. So now you have a gorgeous card, beautiful channel card, so you have a nice focal element to look at. I think that's stunning. I hope you've enjoyed today's video and join us again soon.